Hello, welcome to our daily success webinar on this beautiful Tuesday, right? Man, it's a gorgeous day. Thank you all for being on here today. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join us. I hope everyone had an amazing 4th of July weekend. I hope it was your best one so far and that you had a chance to spend plenty of time with your family and friends and eating plenty of good food and doing all sorts of fun stuff over the holiday weekend. And most importantly, I hope you took time to express gratitude for this wonderful and amazing country that we live in, for all the freedoms and opportunities that we enjoy, and for the men and women who have fought and died. Not just fought and died, but even those who have fought and sacrificed so much for our freedoms and all that we get to enjoy and that we're blessed with. So had an amazing time and loved spending time with my family over the weekend. So hope you all did as well. All right, let's get started. For those of you brand new, we do these webinars Monday through Friday at the same exact time. So try to be here as often as you possibly can. It only takes one idea. And I cannot impress this upon you guys enough. The power of one, right? One idea, just one simple idea. Just a simple phrase, a quote, a piece of advice, a tip, a strategy, a story, a resource, even something as simple as just a keyword that triggers something in your mind can absolutely transform your life, can take your life to the next level and set you on a new course to achieve your goals and create the life that you desire. So that's why it's so important that you attend these webinars as often as you can so that you're sure to get the ideas and information that you need that will absolutely change your life. All right, let's get started. So for those of you who've been on here for a while, you know that the last week or two, we've been doing a goal setting masterclass to help you guys finish the year strong and make this your biggest and best year. Again, I do this twice a year. I do a big one in December to help launch a brand new year for my team members to help them make it their biggest and best year. And then in June, and of course we're into July now, but halfway through the year to help you finish the year strong. And like I mentioned many times last week, is regardless of how the first half of the year has gone for you, that does not matter. Because like I always say, you can absolutely change your life in 30 days, 60 days, and especially 90 days. Hey, I know that for a fact. I've helped so many people do it over the years. I've done it myself, and I've seen it happen so many times. 30, 60, and especially 90 days is plenty of time for you to change your life. So when we're talking about 6 months between now and the end of the year, or we'll say just shy of 6 months, that's gobs and gobs of time for you to finish the year strong, even if the first half of the year was not that great. Okay, pick yourself up, dust yourself off. Okay, and hey, today's a brand new day. This is a brand new week. This is a brand new month, right? Okay, the past doesn't equal the future. I know I say that a lot, but it's so true. So many people get stuck in how last month was, or last 6 months, or last year, how their life has been. And they keep telling the same story in their head, and that's why their life never changes. They keep repeating the same story of who they are and what they've accomplished. And so because of that, their life doesn't change. You got to create a new story. You got to create a new version of your life. And that's when your life will change. And so forget about yesterday, forget about last week, last month, last 6 months, last year, forget about the last 5, 10 years. That doesn't matter. Today's a brand new day. I can tell you right now, there are countless people out there who are massively successful, incredibly wealthy and rich, who started out worse than you are right now. Even if you're in a challenging time, I guarantee you, I can find you story after story after story of people who are worse off than you are right now and have created massive success, incredible wealth and riches in their life. And that's proof right there that, hey, Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where you're at right now. Doesn't matter where you've been at the past 6 months. All that matters is what you're going to do today. What are you going to do today to make the next 30 days, the next 60 days, the next 90 days, the next 6 months the best they've ever been? And you can do it. So with this goal setting masterclass, today I want to talk about a few things. So this week we're going to be doing is we are going to be talking about different tools and strategies that are going to help you expedite the process and achieve your goals and dreams faster and easier than you would otherwise. Now, when it comes to achieving your goals and dreams, there's two very important factors that we want to keep in mind. Some people are on the side that, where some people are misled into thinking that it's all and only mindset. It's all about mindset. So you see this a lot with the law of attraction. Now, I'm all about mindset. 80, 90% of what we talk about on these webinars is mindset. So mindset is absolutely critical to your success. 80%, and I always say this, 80% of your success in anything you do, any area of your life, your relationships, your health, your finances, your wealth, your business, your career, everything, 80% of your success or failure, because it attributes to both, right, is your mindset. 80% of it is psychology and mindset. Okay. If you're struggling or failing, 80% of the reason is because your psychology and mindset. If you're succeeding, 80% of it's because your psychology and mindset. Here's where the challenge comes in, is when people think that all they have to do is sit at home and just focus on their mindset and their whole life is going to change. That's not true. That is not true. Okay. Granted, are there some things in your life that you can attract and manifest and bring about purely through your mindset? Yeah, I believe that wholeheartedly. That can happen. But the vast majority of your goals and dreams and things you want to achieve is going to take more than just mindset. So going back to what I was saying before, there are some people that are misled or believe that if I just sit at home in my chair and just do nothing but, mindset, my whole life is going to change. Okay. That's what I'm saying is not correct. That's not accurate. Even though mindset is critical and crucial to your success, it's not the only thing. The other factor, okay, is the physical work. Okay. Now, here's the other problem, is there's some people in this camp that think, okay, it's all physical. Work, hustle, grind. And that's what you got to do to succeed. That is not true either. Okay, so in other words, you can swing the pendulum too far in either direction, okay, and you're not going to achieve the maximum results either way. If you're over here saying it's purely and only mindset, and I just have to sit here and do nothing and just work on my mindset and do all the mental work, okay, it's not going to happen. Okay, or I should say, again, there's exceptions to every rule, keep in mind, but the vast majority of what you want to be, do, and have and achieve and the life you want to create, it's going to take more than just the mental work. And then over here on the other side of the pendulum, same thing is true there. Are there some things that you can achieve purely through physical work, physical effort, and grinding and hustling and so forth? Absolutely. But you're still not going to achieve the maximum results in your life just by purely doing the physical work. There's a lot of people out there that are working their guts out and they still don't achieve amazing results, or they still don't achieve their goals. So the fact is, if you want to achieve the maximum results in your life, if you absolutely want to become the most powerful version of you, the best version of you that can achieve the greatest things that you can imagine, you need both. You need both. You need both the mental effort and the physical effort. Okay, not just one or the other, but both. Does it make sense? Again, I go back to the story of Roger Bannister with the 4 minute mile. You've all heard about the 4 minute mile. He physically tried over and over again to break the 4 minute mile. He was doing the work. He couldn't do it. It wasn't until he went inward and started to imagine himself breaking the 4 minute mile. Then, after he started to do the mental work along with the physical work, that's when he actually achieved it. He didn't just sit at home. Again, you can imagine, would he have broke the 4 minute mile just sitting at home, imagining it and not putting in the physical effort? Of course not. That's ridiculous. And of course, he was putting in the physical effort, but he wasn't doing the mental work, and he couldn't achieve it either. He needed both. He needed both. Okay. So that's a perfect example. And there's many others just like that one. All right. I mean, there's a great example of a study that was done with basketball players. And I've shared this one many times, where they basically took a group of basketball players that had the same free throw shooting percentage, and they broke them up into three groups. Okay. Group A, basically, they were told to practice like 30 minutes a day for 30 days, free throws over and over again for 30 minutes a day, 30 days. Group B was told not to touch a basketball, but just to imagine for 30 minutes a day, just imagine and visualize shooting free throws. Okay. And then group C was told to do nothing at all. Nothing at all. Well, at the end of 30 days, group A had improved by, I think it was like 24%. Okay. Group B, and they were the ones doing the physical effort, not imagining, no mental effort, just the physical effort. Now, obviously, granted, if you're doing the physical effort, there is obviously mental involved in that, of course. I'm simply talking about sitting down and just purely focusing on imagining and visualizing and nothing but the mental effort. Okay, so keep that in mind when I talk about that. But group B, they improved by 23%. So group A improved by 24, group B was by 23. So even though group B didn't touch a basketball for 30 days, just purely by imagining and visualizing, they still improved by 23%, almost as much as the first group who was physically doing the work. And then group C, their free throw shooting percentage didn't improve at all. It stayed the same. Okay, so that's a great example. Now, the thing is group B, if that's all they did was imagine and visualize, okay, I guarantee you they're going to plateau. They're not going to they're going to only get so far until they actually put in the physical effort. The same thing with group A. If all they do is the physical, but they don't do any of the imagination or visual or the mental effort, same thing, they're going to plateau. It's only when they combine both the mental and the physical effort that they're able to achieve the greatest results. Okay, one without the other, you're only going to achieve so much. You're still going to limit your results. If you want to achieve the highest results, you need both. So as we're going through this, as we talk about these tools and strategies this week, I want to be very clear about that. Is these tools and strategies are not meant for you to, or not meant to replace the physical effort. There are some things, most things, when it comes to achieving your goals and dreams and create life that you want, that are going to require physical effort. Now, granted, there are exceptions. Like I said before, there are some things where there's really not a whole lot of physical effort that you can do. It's all mental. There are those things in your life. But again, that's the minority. So just be very clear about that. You need both in order to achieve the best and to become the most powerful version of you. When I say the most powerful, I mean a version of you that can set and achieve any goals that you want, literally. That's what I'm talking about. How would that be? How would that be to be the best and most powerful version of you that you can set a goal and you know with 100% confidence that you can achieve it because you've mastered both the mental and the physical effort. So the purpose of these tools is to help your psychology and your mindset so that rather than working against you, it's working with you in the achievement of your goals. Does this make sense? Because again, going back to the mental and the physical, if you're doing the physical work day in and day out, and you're hustling, you're grinding, you're working your guts out, but at the same time, you've got all these negative thoughts and these limiting beliefs, okay, how far are you going to get? You're not going to get very far. The best way to think of that is like the example I share with you guys quite often, where imagine that you're trying to get ahead in life. Like you're trying to get to that next level. But at the same time, you have all these weights and anchors that are tied to you. How difficult is it going to be for you to get to the next level and to achieve more when you got all these weights and anchors that are holding you down and pulling you back? It's going to be very, very difficult, if not impossible, right? So that's a perfect example I'm talking about. People putting in the physical effort, trying to achieve more and do more and work harder and faster and put in more hours. That's what most people think. But at the same time, their psychology and mindset is negative, or they got all these limiting and negative beliefs, which is just like anchors and weights holding them back. And that's why most people get frustrated because, man, I'm putting all this effort in, I'm working hard, I'm working my guts out. Why am I not achieving my results? Why am I not achieving my goals? Well, it's because they're doing the physical, but the mental, the psychology is actually working against them. It's two opposing forces working against each other. So what you want is to get rid of the weights and the anchors, which are the negative and limiting beliefs, so that rather than having your psychology and your mindset working against you, it's now working with you. Okay. It actually is propelling you. It's like fuel. It's pushing you forward. It's actually helping you achieve more faster than you would otherwise. And now you got those two forces working in harmony. Does this make sense? That's the purpose of this. These tools and strategies are to basically reprogram and rewire your brain so that, let me give you an example. Let's say that your goal is to make $100,000 a month. Now, bear in mind too, I know last week I talked about this in one of the webinars about making $100,000 a month. And by the way, I'm not saying that that has to be your goal. I know some of you sent me messages about achieving that, and that's fantastic. If that's your goal, that's awesome. But at the same time, I'm not saying that that has to be your goal. Okay. Your goal can be $20, $30, $40, $50,000 a month or $10,000 a month. I talked about this in the context that sometimes people set goals that are very limiting or within reason. In their mind, it's within reason, and they don't push themselves. And so I talked about, rather than setting a goal of making 10,000, make 100, set a goal for 100,000 to push yourself. But I just want to, go back and explain that that doesn't have to be your, for some of you, $10,000 a month is pushing yourself, and that's perfectly fine, or 20,000 or 30,000. So I just want to throw that in there and clarify that. Okay. But, and again, you guys know better than anybody. The whole purpose of what I was saying last week was not that you should set a goal for 100,000, even though every single one of you have that potential. I guarantee you have that potential, whether you believe it or not. I know that for a fact. And you have the potential to do much more than that. You may not see it right now. And just because you can't see that doesn't mean that you can't do it. Doesn't mean that it's impossible. You don't have to see it right now, but it is possible. But even though I was talking about $100,000 a month, I wasn't necessarily saying that that has to be your goal. You know you better than anybody else. Again, for some of you, $10,000 a month is a huge, outrageous, audacious goal. That's way outside your comfort zone. That's cool. That's awesome. Or 20,000 or 30,000. So just keep that in mind. Okay. So anyway, but what I'm getting at here is, let me give you an example. If your goal is to make $100,000 a month, let me just explain it like this. if you're working hard all day, every day, and putting in crazy hours and working weekends and just hustling, grinding, can you get to that goal just purely by the physical effort? Yeah. Yeah, you can. Like I said, there's exceptions to every rule, but it's going to be a lot more difficult. It's going to take a lot longer, and it's just going to be a more painful process. Because again, it's like you trying to get farther with all these weights and anchors. You can get there, but it's going to be exhausting. It's going to be so exhausting because you got all this weight you're dragging with you. Okay. But at the same time, there's most odds are you're not going to achieve that goal because you don't have the mental. So if you're trying to achieve that goal, and then even though you're putting in the effort and the work, but the mental aspect at the same time, if you don't believe that it's possible, because that happens a lot of times. A lot of times people set goals and they say, I want to make this, or I want to do this. But then at the same time, in their mind, and even sometimes they say it out loud, but most internally, most of the time, it's their internal dialogue. It's their self-talk that says, man, I want to achieve that, but I don't know how that's possible. I can't see myself doing that. That's what happens to a lot of people. So if you have this negative and limiting self-talk or beliefs in your head around making $100,000 a month, and you don't believe that it's possible, but at the same time, that's your goal, can you see where the dilemma is? Can you start to see where the problem is? The odds of you achieving that goal are going to be very, very low. I mean, you can write it down. You can do all this stuff, but until you get this straightened out, if this doesn't believe it's possible, odds are it's not going to happen. So that's the first and most important reason for these tools and strategies we're going to talk about this week, is to rewire and reprogram this so that when you set your goals, rather than thinking that they're impossible or there's no way, or having all this negative belief and self-talk around these goals, now you do believe that it's possible. Can you imagine now? Let me give you a second scenario. Let's say your goal is to make $100,000 a month. And now, I mean, you're putting in the effort. You're not killing yourself, but you're putting in the effort. But now in your mind, you believe it's possible. In fact, you believe it's already done. Like it's a done deal. Signed, sealed, and delivered. Like it's already happened in your mind. It hasn't showed up physically, but in here, it's already happened. Can you imagine how much faster and easier and less exhausting? Like it's just going to be a much more enjoyable, fun, less exhausting process achieving that. And your odds of achieving that are going to go up astronomically. So not only are you more likely to achieve that goal, you're going to get there quicker, and the whole process is going to be a whole lot more fun. All because rather than this working against you, it's working with you because you've reprogrammed or rewired this. That's what this is for. To shift your mindset so that you believe that it's possible. Okay? That's what we're talking about this week. That's the purpose of these tools and strategies. So along those lines, and a great book about this is The Magic of Believing by Claude M. Bristol, one of my favorite books. If you haven't read that book, go get that book. You can get the printed version, the audio version, and the digital version. One of the best books ever written. If you really want to understand the power of belief. And here's the thing, is regardless of what you think is impossible right now, you can shift your belief in an instant. And the minute your belief shifts, that's when the magic happens. So it's a really powerful book. Anyway, so, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. There's a couple more things, but we'll just talk about this other stuff throughout the week. I just really wanted to expand on the importance of the mental effort and the physical effort, and the importance of doing both. There are people out there that have achieved great things purely through physical effort, but I guarantee you they could achieve so much more, 10 times more, easily 10 times more, if they applied the mental, if they reprogrammed and rewired this. Because there's a lot of people out there that they've achieved some great things, but they're exhausted. They're burned out. It was so hard getting to that point that once they achieve that goal, they're just burnt and exhausted. And it was so tiring. Sometimes they can't keep doing it. But when you get this reprogrammed, it's completely the opposite. Getting there is a joyful, fun, exciting process. And once you get to that level, then getting the next level is even more fun. It's a completely different game. It's a game changer. So that's really what I want to press upon you guys today, is the importance of both. I'm not one of those individuals who says only mindset and nothing else, even though, again, 80% of your success is your psychology and mindset. And we talk a lot about that on here. It is the most important factor. But I'm 100% believing that you need both, not just one or the other. So we'll talk about more of this stuff this week. Tomorrow, I'm going to share the first tool with you. So make sure you are here tomorrow. I'm going to share with you the most powerful tool out of anything you can do, anything that you can do to radically rewire this and change your mind, change your brain, and change your life. Tomorrow, I'm going to share that tool with you. The number one. Hey, the number one. And I love, man, let me find that quote. In fact, I'm going to share this with you. If I could pull it up here real quick. Yeah, I love this quote by James Allen. James Allen. Let a man radically alter his thoughts, and he will be astonished at the rapid transformation it will affect in the material conditions of his life. By James Allen. I'm going to repeat that one more time. Let a man radically alter his thoughts, and he will be astonished at the rapid transformation it will affect in the material conditions of his life. So like we always say, if you radically change this, and tomorrow I'm going to give you the number one tool and strategy for doing that, the fastest and the most powerful. When you do that, okay, the material, the outer world in your life changes radically along with it. All right. I think we're going to wrap it up there. We got a couple more minutes left here, so let's check our messages and we'll finish up for the day. Josh. I'm not sure I love your message, Josh, but I don't quite know what you mean by that. I don't even know what so you're going to have to expand on that. Anyway, but thank you for your message, brother. I appreciate it, man. Glad you're loving the suit. Bobby, hey, brother. Good to see you on here, man. Thank you so much for your message. Debbie, thank you, Debbie. Man, you're awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I did, and thank you very much for doing that. Thank you, Debbie. You are awesome. Marcus. I did, Marcus. Thank you. Just like Debbie. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Yep. So you're awesome, and appreciate you very much. And thank you for the compliment. Hey, that's a good message, Marcus. We all have those seeds of doubt that creep in. You know what? Just stick with it. Just stick with it, because that's what happens when you start doing these things. It's like your subconscious mind kind of fights you a little bit, because it's been doing things this way for so long. And so when you change it, it wants to keep reverting back to the old way. Okay? Because unfortunately, our subconscious mind doesn't always work with us. It sounds crazy, but it doesn't always work with us. It works against us a lot of times. So when you're trying to be more positive by doing these things we're talking about, it's gonna give you some resistance. You're gonna have that, and it's gonna come up in the form of negativity, fear, and all this stuff. You just got to keep pushing through. And what happens, just keep in mind, it's about feeding the two opposing forces, positive and negative. You have two opposing forces. Whichever one you feed gets the strongest. And if the negative has been strong for a while and you start to feed the positive, the negative is not going to give up without a fight. Okay. But you keep feeding the positive, and before you know it, you're going to win the battle. Okay. Because you're going to feed the positive, starve the negative. So what you're going through is the same thing we all go through. So just stick with it, brother. You're doing awesome. Proud of you, man. And thank you for your message. Oh, there we go. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. All right, man. Thank you. Yeah, it kind of threw me off there, but I get you now. So anyway, well, I haven't paid too much attention. So, man, I don't know. But I appreciate that, Josh. Man, wait, attention to detail. It's awesome, brother. Thank you. Renee, thank you, Renee. Appreciate that. That means a lot. Thank you for the compliment. So good to see you on here, Renee, and I love your message. And you're very welcome. Thank you. Appreciate your gratitude. You are amazing. We're so excited to have you on here, Renee. So thank you very much. Josh, thank you, brother. Man, I always love seeing you on here, Josh. I got two Joshes on here. I gotta pay attention to last name because sometimes I don't catch that. But Josh, God bless you, brother. Thank you very much. And my pleasure. You're more than welcome. So good to see you on here. Terry. Terry, thank you, brother. Man, that is an awesome compliment. I really appreciate your message. So good to have you on here. Thank you, brother. All right, looks like that's all of our messages. Well, thank you again for your messages. Thank you for taking time to be on here with us. I love and appreciate you guys. And like I always say, if you do the things today that most people won't, tomorrow you will have the life that most people can't. Go out there and make it your best day ever, and make sure you tune in tomorrow because, man, I got some powerful stuff to share with you tomorrow and throughout the week. Love you guys. Go out there, have an amazing day. God bless. We'll see you then. Thanks, everybody.